Wish TV is focused on family and the community and is committed to sharing the stories of those who are making a difference every day. From the All Indiana Podcast Network and Wish TV, this is Behind the Eight Podcast with Wish TV's George Mallet.
Today on Behind the Eight, we're going to talk to Drew Blair, the longtime daybreak anchor here at Wish TV 8. Drew recently transitioned to a new role as the Midday anchor and 5 o'clock co-anchor, along with Phil Sanchez. But what this reporter wanted to talk to Drew about was her commitment to fitness. Stick around, and you may just find that Drew Blair is an inspiration.
What can 160 years of experience teach you about the future? A lot, especially when it comes to protecting what matters. At Pacific Life, we've helped people and businesses confidently embrace the future with life insurance, retirement income, and employee benefits. With strategies built on strength and trust, and a promise to be here for you today and tomorrow. Ask a financial professional how Pacific Life can help you today. Pacific Life Insurance Company, Omaha, Nebraska, and in New York. Pacific Life and Annuity, Phoenix, Arizona.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Ali Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
And I'm joined now by Drew Blair. She was the longtime morning anchor, the daybreak anchor here at Wish TV 8. Now she's transitioning to a new role. She's doing the midday news, co-anchoring the 5, and doing breaking news in between.
Yeah. Hey, George.
It's good to have you. So let's talk a little bit about this transition, because you and I have both done early mornings, and that is, once you get used to it, it's pretty nice.
Oh, yeah. And to survive it, you have to be really regimented with your schedule and your life in and out of work. So everyone wants to say that I work normal hours now. I don't feel anything normal.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how to live this life. I was doing daybreak for about 10 years.
Now, and when you did daybreak, what time did you go to bed and what time did you get up in the morning?
I'm not a napper, so I slept more traditionally, as much as that's possible to say traditionally, going to bed at 6 p.m. So that was in theory, what I tried to do. So it was typically between 6 and 7 p.m., and then I would wake up at 1 in the morning.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, it's always a shock to when people say, wait a second, sometimes I don't go to bed until midnight or 1.
I thought I was intense because I got up at 2.
Okay.
But
and every 20-minute increment means so much in those overnight hours.
Sure.
If you get to bed this much later, you feel it.
And when I was pitching you on joining me for this podcast, I said I wanted to talk about fitness because that's a really important part of your life.
It is.
So how does that interact with your work life?
Well, it's been tough because in the past, I would get off of daybreak and my day at work would be done essentially. Because, I mean, daybreak is a 6-hour-long newscast and you work for 8 or 9 hours. So essentially the entire shift is your show.
Right.
So once I got off the air, I would just pack up and I would go work out immediately after that. And that also helped me with my sleep schedule as well. To say I'm not a napper, it gave me a second wind. I would go work out and it felt like a new day in some sense. I can put work away and work out at, like, a lot of people start their day with workouts and then you have your metabolism going, and it woke me up to do, the rest of productive life through the afternoon, and then I would be tired around 6 p.m. Now it's fitness and every other routine. I'm trying to figure out where does that fit and what time of day do I do any given item. I have now, why not stay a morning person if it's ingrained in me over the last decade to work mornings. just keep that train moving. So I'm getting up between 5:30 in the mornings now and getting everything done before work. I do love that, getting, that energy and that metabolism boost and knowing that it's done for the day once you're in the middle of it. You've already been so productive. But there's extra challenges now that I have to navigate. It's not daylight when I'm waking up to wanting to go run, or, I ride my bike indoors a lot of times during the week, so that's not really an issue. But the running is, and sadly, anyone, but especially women, we have to think about running alone and where we're running and the safety of that. So I've been hitting the treadmill a lot more than I would typically.
And I was remiss because I didn't point out the level of fitness that you embrace. You are a triathlete.
I am.
So you swim, you run, you ride a bicycle at incredible distances. So what do you envision going forward? Are you still going to be able to get all of the miles in you need to get in to do?
Yeah, I think the biggest factor in when I decide what distance and what's manageable with life, I've always said that the half Ironman distance is what fits me best. It's a 70.3 race, so I will do one or two of those every year. 70.3 miles, as I should say. So the swim is 1.2 miles, the bike is 56, and the run is a half marathon. And that is manageable, yet holds me accountable and is still a challenge year after year. And I've been doing half Ironman distances for 7 years now. I have done a couple full Ironmans, but it doesn't matter if you are full-time employed or you're a full-time parent, whatever your situation may be, it is so hard to work in a full Ironman training schedule for anybody because it is essentially taking on a part-time job. So that is, like I've said, I've done two of them, but I've had a lot of help. I'm not a parent, but I am a dog mom.
Right.
And there's not, I'm responsible for him and his well-being, and going out for a 7-hour bike ride sometimes isn't the friendliest. So I had a lot of help in training for that. And I think those days may be past for now.
Well, you brought up the dog. His name is?
Baden.
And Baden is a German Shepherd.
He is. He's 5 years old, 100 pounds, and he is my special child.
And now, does he run with you when you train at all?
Not really.
Yeah.
So this is funny that I love that we're talking fitness. I have my own podcast, Fitting Indy, and if people have heard that, they've also heard, I like these crossovers because I did one with Nathan Lowe, the dog whisperer, as well, and we talked about fitness with a dog, for the dog, but also being a partner in your own. Baden's not a long-distance runner.
Okay.
He likes maybe 1 to 2 miles, and actually like is probably too strong a word to put in his mouth. He can't speak for himself, but his pace shows me he's like, I'm not really into this.
I should loan you my dog.
Yeah,
because
Spot.
he can actually do sub 5-minute miles.
Oh my gosh.
For extended periods. I put him on my bicycle.
Yeah, I would have to have rollerblades to keep up with him. That's too fast for me too.
So, in terms of I'm assuming you pick out one of these events that you want to compete in, and then train with that goal in mind. Do you keep yourself at a certain level of fitness all the time in order to have that possibility?
Essentially, I do. And because this isn't my job, I'm not a professional athlete. And while I have my own personal goals and things I would like to work on to get faster here and there, I just basically maintain it for fitness and for the fun of it. So I often describe it as a half iron fitness level all year round. I'm going to pick up again this next year. I took a break from it in 2022, but for 4 years straight, I had a personal challenge that I would do a half marathon every month. And sometimes that would be an organized event, and sometimes it would just be on my own or with buddies, and we're training, and that keeps a level of run fitness through the year, makes you more durable and resistant to injury and all of that. So I love doing that, and I missed it this year. So I'm looking forward in January to starting that whole trend again.
Now, when I was an obligate long distance runner, I kept track, as opposed to keeping track of a daily of daily mileage, I kind of did it by weeks. Like I wanted to run this many miles in a week.
Right.
What kind of walk me through Drew Blair's routine in terms of the running, the swimming, the bicycle?
It's pretty much ingrained in there. I was in a group that sadly no longer exists, but it was through a YMCA, and it was a triathlon club, and we had scheduled workouts and training plans. And it's funny, once I found out that that's how it worked for me, like I would swim on Monday and I might do a short run on Monday, and on Tuesday I bike and this, and you're like, so that pattern is still in place with just, and maybe I think daybreak makes you OCD in a way. Not to use that phrase flippantly, but you do get so regimented in your schedule and routine and knowing what you're going to do. So there is flexibility, of course. If I look at, one day's weather and think, man, that would be really great to run. I'm not supposed to run today. No, I can go ahead and run. But when trying to keep fitness in all three sports and working on strength training and stretching and yoga, whatever you want to mix in, the best is to try to do where you're not going 3 days without one of the sports. So there's a pattern and a rhythm, and you're often doing 2 of the practices in one day.
So when you go for a run, when it's a running day, how far do you run on any given day?
During the week, it could be between 3 and 7 miles. It depends on what I'm training for. And then on the weekends is usually, and honestly, I like to do it by time more than distance. But so on Saturday, I'd like to do a 90-minute run.
Just keep your heart rate up for that length of time.
Yeah,
Wow.
and time on your feet. Just getting your body used to time upright.
Now, do you find I'm imposing my bias here, but I'm 62 years old now, and I ran every day for years and years and years, and I feel like it took a terrible toll on my knees.
Yeah,
it's great for my cardio. What are the things that you're finding you have to do in order to avoid wearing down your body?
I think the variety of triathlon alone does that for me. I think because I'm not so stuck in one, forward motion plane of running and impact all the time. I work in the bike and the swimming. Of course, swimming's incredible for anybody. So I've been fortunate. I've been lucky to not have a lot of nagging injury, knock on wood, But I do think having the variety of what other people might think of as cross training, it's all my sport. It's 3 sports in one.
And now, what kind of advice would you have for somebody who wants to embark on a more active lifestyle and perhaps isn't doing that now? The thing I always try to say is you got to find something that makes you happy,
that's it.
Something that's fun, but that's really hard for some folks.
Yeah. I think just putting yourself out there and being willing to try something, and you might not even like it the very first time. I haven't always been a triathlete. I grew up a team sport athlete. Softball ended up being my main focus. Then once I went to college, I tried to just maintain some activity, not do the freshman 15 or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And I definitely got into a rut of I would just do the elliptical for a half hour, and I might do dumbbells for 5 minutes, not really knowing what I was doing. And then post-college, I belong to a YMCA. They have all these group exercise classes. I thought I was a loner when it came to working out. I didn't think I would enjoy that group aspect at all. And then friends that I worked with just kept pushing the issue. Come on, join us for Zumba of all things. I was like, this is so out of my comfort zone. I've never been a dancer. Give me a ball and I'll throw it or bounce it, but I don't know about dancing. And I loved it. It was so fun. It didn't feel like a workout. I felt really awkward the very first time. And then I realized everybody feels awkward and they're not looking at you. They're so focused on looking in the mirror to make sure they're doing the right thing. Nobody cares about any other person that's in that class. And so I got over the insecurities there and I kept going. And that's what when fitness became a healthy lifestyle and not just something I felt like I had to do. It was a hobby. It was something I missed when I didn't do it on a given day. And that's when I knew I found something that fit for me. And then later on, I embarked on the triathlon journey. But it is just finding something that you enjoy. It doesn't feel like work, but that it takes work to find out what that is.
And you're throwing in that word work. I wonder, and I'll wrap it up here, to what extent is that fitness regimen important in terms of helping you get through the workday?
It's the energy to stay energetic and healthy. I can't tell you the last time I had a sick day. My immune system's incredibly strong, and I joke that a newsroom is just as much of a petri dish as a daycare center. And the way we're so in and out in the community, we're bringing all kinds of things in, and so I've been fortunate in that regard. A very technical, logistic way of saying, well, I don't get sick, and that is a good thing when it comes to the workplace. I love the connection that I have with the community. This is my hometown. I was born and raised in Indianapolis, so I already have a lot of ingrained connection here. But then knowing the world of endurance sports and how it's very much a spider web of connections. You are in one team, but you know people on 4 other teams, and it's a small world, but has a great impact. And all of the high, premier events that Indianapolis puts on when it comes to sports in general, but also endurance sporting events, knowing the players involved in that helps me on, news coverage. I can relate to the people who are organizing. I can relate to the people who are participating, and I can help spread the word in encouraging people to maybe take part in one of these events if they've never done it.
Which is what we're doing right now. She's Drew Blair, award-winning journalist, fitness fanatic, and role model. Thanks, Drew.
Thank you, George.
This is George Mallet. My thanks to Drew Blair for joining me for Behind the 8. I encourage you to like, follow, and subscribe to this and all the podcasts on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is Behind the 8 Podcast with Wish TV's George Mallet. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And connect for even more on Facebook and at wishtv.com.